So now we can go ahead and get into our top 5 news stories for this week. And you know, we mentioned it before. There's a lot of free games available right now. So Boogie, let's go ahead and jump into the first one.
Okay, so what we got? We've got Sony PlayStation Plus games for July, and they've come with a couple of heavy hitters. Heavy Rain, and Absolver, the PlayStation 4 games. Heavy Rain I've played before. I played it on PS3, and it was I enjoyed it on PS3. But I didn't actually get to finish it. Absolver, I'm not too sure. I think it's an online multiplayer game. That's about all I know.
Yeah, Absolver. It looks like a open arena type fighter, something like that.
Almost like For Honor type game.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
something like that. Yeah, and then for the PlayStation 3, you got Rayman 3 HD, Deception 4, The Nightmare Princess. For the PlayStation Vita, you have Space Overlords, Zero Escape, Zero Time Dilemma. And there's a couple other things that's going on. And this has been going on for a while. If you haven't already gotten it, you have until July 11th. Call of Duty Black Ops 3 is free for PlayStation Plus members. It's free for 10 more days. So if you like Call of Duty, or if you really don't have an opinion but you want to try it out, it's a good one to try out, especially before Black Ops 4 drops in this fall, which is going to be completely different. So you're not going
to get a feel for a game franchise that's about to completely change.
Right. But yeah, it's definitely worth a try. And then the other thing they have going on is there's a deal with the PlayStation Now. So if you are currently a subscriber or not a subscriber, and you sign up before September 25th, the 3-month plan is going to be $29.99 as opposed to $44.99, which is the normal price. So if you want to try it out for a few months, it's $30. But be careful, if you do sign up for it, it will auto renew after that 3 months is up for the full price.
Yeah. All right. So a lot of extra added on benefits to PlayStation Plus. I can appreciate it. The actual game lineup, though, is something to be desired. It leaves a lot to be desired. Absolver, I think I actually played this game on PC back in the past, or at least something very similar. I can't say for sure. I don't necessarily remember. And Heavy Rain is another one of those games, those story-based games, similar to the one that just came out. It's by the same studio that did Detroit Become Human.
It's definitely story. Most of the gameplay is just quick time events.
Yeah, so not necessarily my cup of tea, which is why if I were to give a grade the only game that I would recommend is Rayman 3 on the PlayStation 3. And it sucks that there's no backwards compatibility. So overall, I'd probably give this month's lineup probably like a D. I'm not really feeling most of the games here.
Yeah, I would give it an incomplete because I don't know exactly what Absolver is. I'll have to get my hands on it to make a decision.
I'm pretty sure I've played it. It's not terrible. It's basically like a over the shoulder third person perspective. And it's like it's a fighting game, but it allows you to kind of just run around the arena a bit. There's a lot of dodging and stuff involved. It's okay for a couple quick matches, but it quickly tires out, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah, and Heavy Rain, I actually enjoyed it, but like I've said this before, there's only so much quick time events you can go through before I start losing interest, and that's what happened to me with Heavy Rain. Everything is a quick time event. It got to the point where the timing you have to get the time exactly right, or you fall to your death, or you don't get out of the car, or whatever happens. It just gets boring after a while because I'm not doing any controls. I might do a little walking, but other than that, it's just timing my button presses, and I can do that in Rock Band and have more fun.
Right. At least then you're listening to some decent music.
Right.
But yeah, not the best lineup in my opinion. But it's free. So if you haven't played any of these games, you can always download them. Oh, you don't even have to download. You can add them to your library. Just note that if your PlayStation Plus subscription lapses, or you are no longer able to pay for PlayStation Plus, the ability to play these games goes away.
Yeah.
Until you re-up. Yeah. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the Microsoft side with the
Yeah.
games for gold, and I'm actually pretty stoked about this lineup. This time around, this month, they actually came with a few games that I either have played and I can recommend, or I really want to play. And let's start off with the Xbox One side, because the first game that they have available, and this is from today, July the 1st until the 31st, that's going to be Assault Android Cactus. And it is a twin stick shooter. It is so much fun. It's 4 players, and it is just amazing. The only thing it's missing is online. But if you got at least one person to just sit down and play, it's fast paced, it's hectic. The music is it allows you to kind of just like get drowned out into the music and just like get into the zone of like dodging all of these projectiles. It's like a twin stick bullet hell type game. I love it. I'm loving it so far. So I can highly recommend that. The other game on the Xbox One side, which will be available on July 16th, is called Death Squared, and this looks to be like a kind of like a puzzle game.
Yeah, like a Tetris style puzzle game, drop block game.
Yeah, drop block game. Yeah,
it's in 3D.
Yeah,
it's something I would actually play. I like those type of puzzle games, the drop blocks. So I'm actually interested in playing that. The Assault Android Cactus. When I saw that, I definitely wanted to play that because I love twin stick shooters. They're fun. I have a good time with them.
Yeah.
And yeah, if it had online component, that would make it that much better. But
yeah, no online, man. That makes me really sad.
That's not going to really scare me away. Yeah, and then the 360 games. Virtual Fighter. We're talking about Virtual Fighter. And I've been having an itch to play it, and now I get to play it because Virtual Fighter 5 Showdown, Final Showdown, is going to be available. And that's actually available now. That's the 1st through the 15th.
Yeah.
I think the last Virtual Fighter I probably played was 4. But I'm pretty sure I can jump in this and mess around and enjoy myself.
Yeah. Virtual Fighter is probably one of the most technical fighting games out there. I personally never really got around to to that game. My first intro to like 3D fighters was Soul Edge back in the day. So I kind of skipped out on a lot of Virtual Fighter and Tekken and stuff like that. But Virtual Fighter has a legacy. I think it's one of, if not the first 3D fighter. Yeah, is it the first 3D fighter?
It's gotta be.
I think it's one of them because I believe it came out before Tekken.
It definitely came out before Tekken for sure.
Yeah, and it just has a legacy. So I mean, it's free. And there's plenty of content there for you. A lot of like interesting characters. And it just as a principle, I'm going to just have this on my hard drive. But then next up on the 360 side is Splinter Cell Conviction. And I love Splinter Cell games. I'm waiting for Ubisoft to announce the next one, because I don't think this is the most recent one, but it was the one before that.
No, that was the last Splinter Cell, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure.
I think wasn't it Blacklist was the last one? I can't remember.
I'm
doing some research.
Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. I might have missed that one then because the Conviction was the last one I played for sure.
Yeah.
Oh no, there were 3 after Endgame, Blacklist, Aftermath, and Echoes.
Echoes? What the heck is Echoes?
I don't know. Splinter Cell, Echoes, 2013. It came out the same year as Aftermath.
Oh no!
Oh no, that's a move. That's a damn book.
Okay, I was like, I don't know. So Blacklist was the most recent one. That one came out a little bit a while ago, and Conviction was the one before that.
Yes, I missed Blacklist for sure.
Yeah. Oh man, you got to play that. That game's dope. Yeah. Okay. But but Conviction's pretty fun. Splinter Cell is one of those games that I'll always play because it's a stealth game that allows you to play it even if you're not really good at being stealthy. Yes, Sonny, I know. Gotta acknowledge the bird. Gotta acknowledge the bird, otherwise you'll go crazy. But yeah, awesome lineup of games for games for gold this month, in my opinion. If I were to give it a grade, based off of what I've what I've played with the Assault Android Cactus, Virtual Fighter, and Splinter Cell, I would give this like a solid like B plus. Like this is a good lineup. I'll have to try Death Squared once that's available.
Right.
But like these are 4 games that I would play definitely. Like today, I would play like all 4 of these games.
Yep.
Yeah. So those were the free games with gold. No word yet on the free games on Twitch Prime yet. But once those are announced, it'll probably be sometime, probably be released tomorrow. So we'll definitely cover that on next week's episode.
Or maybe after the holiday, probably tomorrow, but definitely it shouldn't be much more past the 4th.
Yeah, we'll get it. We'll get them this week at some time. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the next story. What we got next?
We got one out of our friends at Google. And we talked about this at the beginning of the year, Project Yeti. Remember we talked about that?
Yeah, I do.
So it seems like Project Yeti has not gone away, as earlier reported. In fact, it seems like Google were having backroom meetings at GDC and E3 this year with game developers looking at acquisitions and or support for this new platform. What it sounds like they're making is a streaming service, much to the same type of streaming service as PlayStation Now, but they're going to have their own hardware solution. So they're not making an over-the-top streaming service that you can play on everything, but they're making a device, and that device is going to be able to stream these games. So it'd be interesting. I mean, we've had this streaming type service before. Remember OnLive, that didn't go well.
Right.
What's the one that Sony brought? What's it? Gaikai.
Yeah.
That's what's basically powering PlayStation Now. So it hasn't been very successful as of yet. But we're moving into a new world with 5G coming out, which is going to get you wired speed. So that broadband backbone is going to be much stronger and much more pervasive. I think that's the biggest problem with any of these streaming services is the capacity, especially when you're looking at speeds and latency. So it'd be interesting to see what Google comes out with, because remember, Google has data centers everywhere. They're a big player in cloud computing, so they have the power to run it. It's just, and they already have the infrastructure built, and it's just, can they get the support? Because they're going to definitely need support from third parties. Yeah. And will people jump onto it?
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. We've seen a couple of different companies jumping into gaming. We talked about a little while ago, where Amazon started like gobbling up studios, for their own gaming ventures down the line. We'll have to wait and see. But this announcement comes at a pretty decent time, because like you said, the infrastructure is changing. 5G is, that's actually like what I do as a contractor. I'm prepping for the 5G rollout right now. So I know like all the work that's going into it, or some of the work that's going into making this a possibility. And if Google, if anybody can pull it off, I'm pretty sure it's Google, man.
I just don't trust Google.
They have endless amounts of money, and they already know everything about you.
Yeah, but they're a bit schizophrenic, because they start off all kinds of projects and just cut it off. I mean,
very true.
Google Reader, Google Fiber. I mean, we could go down the line where they started, it's going to be great because Google's doing it. Google's like, we're not doing it anymore.
Man, I'm going to tell you right now, I wish I had me some Google Fiber, man. I really do. That shit sounded too good to be true. Yeah. Next up, more Fortnite news. This is like our third story about Fortnite in this episode. It's crazy. I remember we couldn't go an episode without talking about Overwatch, and now we can't even go a segment in the show without talking about Fortnite. Right. So yeah, we got more Fortnite news. So what's going on? What's going on now?
Yeah, so Epic Games is suing one of their former employees.
Oh Lord.
So basically, what they're saying is that this dude's been leaking information and it's caused them irreparable harm.
Oh.
So that's the story right there. Somebody got a hold of him. I think it's Gama Sutra got a hold of him. I'm sorry. He filed a defense claim. Okay. So the gentleman's name is, he's a contractor. He's a QA contractor, so it's quality assurance. So basically, he would just play test the game, right? And he broke NDA in April about the season 4 and the meteor. Remember the meteor that was in the sky? Everybody was going crazy about.
Yeah.
So he broke the NDA and let loose some secrets on that. And basically, what he's saying is that a person was interviewing him, and they pumped him with a bunch of questions, and with his answers, they were able to figure it out. He didn't straight up tell him. That's his defense. But Epic is saying that Hannah provided a bunch of secrets, as well as their superhero theme for season 4. So it'd be interesting to see how this shakes out. But the problem is, if he signed an NDA, he's up shit's creek.
He's going down.
he is royally screwed. And that kind of sucks, because he was just a contract. He's not even a permanent employee, and
ain't gonna be nobody's employee now.
and that's what I was going to say. That's the problem, because now he'll want to be in blacklisted. He won't. Video game companies are going to know his name. Like, this guy tells your secrets, so we're not going to hire you.
And that's crazy, because in 2018, this has been like the year of leaks. You know, I've been surprised at companies that could get an announcement without it being leaked out first. I mean, just before E3, you had somebody leak the existence of Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Yeah,
it's like, man, you almost think that they're leaking this stuff on purpose, like, it's being purposely leaked out there to just get people talking about it, get people thinking and stuff like that. Like a promotional stunt, something like that. But man, you see now, like, people are being sued and taken to jail, potentially.
It's serious business, because especially a game like Fortnite, because when they transfer seasons, that's new sales for them, right? New battle packs and cosmetic purchases. And if somebody says, okay, I'm going to spend $20 on Fortnite, and they say, oh, look at this leak in 3 days, they're going to have Thanos in the game.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spend my $20 now. I'm going to wait. Where that person might have spent that $20, and when Thanos came out, they will spend an additional $20. So it costs, especially, like I said, games like Fortnite that are dependent on microtransactions to generate revenue.
Yeah,
it's going to cause definitely a loss of sales.
Yeah, because the game is free, or at least Battle Royale is free. I don't know anybody that's playing like base Fortnite right now, because that game was like $30-$50, man.
It was $30.
Well, but they had they had like all these like extra editions of
different packs. Yeah.
I got the game up to like $70. I'm like, I'm not buying this shit. But so to anybody that's working in the industry, man, keep them lips sealed, man. Especially if you're a contractor, dude. You get blacklisted, you get sued. Man, I feel bad for that guy, because it wasn't like, it doesn't seem, according to his story, that he did it on purpose. It was kind of just like fished out of him or whatever.
Right, he was unprepared.
Yeah, basically. Unprepared. Yeah. I'm like, why are contractors out here like talking to the press anyway? That's my story. Yeah, somebody got his name, was like, oh, this guy worked on Fortnite as a QA. He might have some stuff, and they just started asking questions. Somebody asked somebody that asked somebody, is like, oh, this guy, and he agreed to an interview. And the thing is, I'm not sure what this NDA is, but a lot of those NDAs say you're not supposed to talk to the press at all. So, I mean, him just talking to him is violation. Yeah, potentially. Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see exactly what happens. If anything else comes up, we'll definitely bring it up in our updates and correction segment of the show at a later date. So we have one more story here in our top 5, and this was actually pretty interesting. It's actually pretty important as well, if you are a fan of the single player experience. So Amy Hennig, who is known for her time at Naughty Dog as the what was the position? Like she was basically she was a writer. She was a writer, yeah. So she came up with the story for a lot of Nathan Drake's adventures. She left either during or before Uncharted 4. I think it was during the development.
It was during the development, yeah.
Yeah, she left during the development, left Naughty Dog during the development of Uncharted 4. But, you know, the studio still, you know, saying, you know, graces of her work on the franchise, and, you know, had her in the credits and all that. So it was really dope to see, you know, that they appreciated what she did. Then she promptly moved over to EA as a writer for a Star Wars games.
Well, she was for the Star Wars game. She was the creative director.
Yeah. Oh, okay, that's right. Yeah, because she went over to Visceral.
Yeah, she went over to Visceral Games. Before that, she was actually a writer on Battlefield Hardline. Sorry, and that's not her fault that game was poop. It was the whole concept was bad.
Game was poop.
But yeah, she's a creative director of this unnamed Star Wars title.
Yeah, over and that was under Visceral Games. Those were the guys that were behind the Dead Space series. So it seemed like a match made in heaven. You know, Visceral Games known for creating, you know, pretty engaging single player experiences, and Amy Hennig, who, you know, wrote the story of Uncharted. You know, you take that, you put it in the Star Wars universe, you know, you pretty much have a match made in heaven. But then you know, EA, they shut down Visceral Studios, they canceled the then untitled Star Wars game,
and they handed it to Respawn, the dudes at Titanfall.
Yeah, they handed over I don't think it was the same project.
Not this game. They handed off
the
Star Wars. So they have a deal with Disney, right? That they had to make Battlefront, but they also had a deal to make a single player or action adventure type Star Wars game. Yeah. And this is what Amy Hennig was working on, but they basically took that from her and gave it to
Respawn.
Respawn. Yeah, and it looks like that what Amy Hennig and Visceral Games was working on was a linear title, and what EA wants is more of an open world title. So think of Grand Theft Auto, Assassin's Creed, all those type of games.
That live service model, that's what they want.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where, and I think part of the issue with them doing that was Mass Effect.
Yeah. The Mass Effect Andromeda definitely did not do well. that's like an understatement. But yeah, because of that, you know, they restructured and changed up everything that they were doing over at EA. You know, moved what's it called, BioWare into freaking EA Motion or whatever.
Yeah, EA Motion. Yeah, exactly.
Something like that. Motive. And so now they're doing Anthem. And Amy Hennig, it was kind of like left up in the air as to exactly what happened with her. Right. You know, we didn't get any kind of notification or any clarification as to what she was then going to be working on. You know, the studio that she was, you know, working with had been shut down in its entirety. She, you know, didn't, you know, get placed on another project or anything. Right. So a lot of people speculated if she was even still employed at EA. Right, and it turns out that she wasn't.
Yeah, well, at the time they said they weren't doing it. She wasn't going to go anywhere. She would move over with Visceral Games, the Visceral Games team because they shut down the studio, but they moved the employees to, I think, EA Montreal. I think it was.
Yeah, either that or Motive. Like that's all they're doing right now.
Yeah, so they moved the team over. They said she would stay on because they closed the studio back in October. Right. And she left EA a few months later. It looks like in January of this year she left EA, and she started her own small studio. So she's got her own little indie studio going, and she just moved on. I don't blame her because you know, what is EA doing? Does anybody know?
I don't know, man. I mean, they're getting rid of the premium pass, and they're not putting loot boxes in any of their games outside of Madden and FIFA. So I mean, that's something, right?
I guess, but what direction are they going? Because again, they're looking like Activision to me. Is they're seeing what everybody else is doing, and they're trying to make their own version of everybody else. Yeah, you know, and instead of forging a new direction. Right. So.
I mean, when when a publisher just like shuts down your project, shuts down,
Yeah.
your studio, that has to leave like a lasting
Benefits.
impression of that workplace. She probably didn't want to be there anymore.
I
So
don't blame.
it's yeah, me neither. So it's actually really cool that she opened up her indie studio, and I am likely to purchase anything that comes out of it, because she's known to work on fantastic projects.
I mean, she's an award-winning writer, right?
Yeah,
She won
award winning.
awards.
Yeah, one. Oh, yeah, and like who can sit here and say that they didn't enjoy Uncharted? Anybody that's played it,
Right, right. The first, and she worked on all three of them, the first three.
Yeah, yeah, and those are awesome games.
Yeah, yeah. And she worked on the Legacy of Kain too, as well.
Oh yeah,
I didn't
back
know
in
that.
the day. Oh man, Legacy of Kain. That is a cult classic, man. I remember the Legacy of Kain
Yeah.
series. So
Yeah.
good.
So yeah. So yeah, we'd be interested to see what her studio's pumping out. And yeah, we'll keep our eye open. My guess is somebody's going to snap them up.
Yeah,
If-
yeah.
if
Hopefully.
They come up with a good project, and yeah, somebody look at him like, hey, look, we have a place for you here.
Yeah. It would behoove you to go ahead and snatch that up. I'm looking at Microsoft.
Yeah,
since they're in the business of acquiring people to make solid games. Amy Hennig. I'm
There you
a
go.
firm believer of that. So that was our top 5 news stories. Let us know what you guys think on this story or any of the stories that we've been talking about today, giving our opinions on. We want to know your opinion as well. So make sure that you leave comments down in that comment section below.